Here we have some interesting PlayStation news to discuss about. As more than a year before the PlayStation 5 launched, images of the PS5 DevKit leaked online, but were more or less unconfirmed. At the time, Sony kept a great deal of information regarding the PlayStation 5 under wraps, including, of course, the design and even the existence of its DevKit. Thus, whenever a developer tried to confirm that the images were real, the confirmations ended up removed for the sake of secrecy. Naturally, people saw the confirmations within the post before they disappeared, so the look of the PS5's DevKit has been around for quite some time. But now that the PlayStation 5 has launched, Sony no longer feels the need to suppress most of the information regarding it, meaning images of it and its development kit are free to confidently roam around the social circuit. This is what they're currently doing, as more images of the PlayStation 5 DevKit have made their way online. A Twitter user going by the handle Welgamer16 has posted 4 new images of the kit to his page, and they show off the PS5 DevKit's design from all angles. Viewers get to see it from the front, the back, the side, the top, and underneath. It looks the same as the kit in the images from over a year ago, so if the design in those images wasn't already confirmed to be real, these images would have lent the idea more support. It's always interesting to see how vastly the console's DevKit design differs from its completed version. The design of the PlayStation 5 and that of its DevKit look nothing at all alike. The PlayStation 5's final design makes it a mammoth of a system. It's the biggest gaming console in modern history. The sheer size difference makes it hard to imagine that it's related to the small, square-like design of its DevKit in any way, not to mention the predominantly white finish it has. With images of the PlayStation 5 DevKit circulating online with impunity, it's apparent that the next-generation consoles are settling into the role of current-gen hardware. At this point, all they need is to become more accessible, as right now, getting a PS5 or Xbox Series X or S is nearly impossible. That said, measures are being taken to correct this, such as Joe Biden investigating the console's component shortages, so hopefully, it won't be long before gaming systems become more obtainable. Speaking of PS5, a Vietnamese hardware modder disassembles a PS5, and then reconstructs the console with a fully operational water cooling system. Some reports by data engineers state that a significant number of PS5 consoles have been scalped, and this number is something like 10 to 15% of all PS5s in the US. For lucky gamers who have managed to get one, it's likely that the first thing they did with the PS5 was to not take it apart. However, Vietnamese hardware modder Nenhafak has done exactly that, and then he rebuilt the PS5 with new parts to create a fully functional water-cooled unit. Nenhafak normally does extreme hardware builds for PCs, creating custom pieces to give the computers a unique look. He finds stylish yet functional ways to include all the important components too. Custom PC builds can match and exceed the capabilities of next-gen consoles, and some PCs are built with entry-level ray tracing capabilities. A few of Nenhafak's PC builds have also used a water cooling system, but this time he decided to try out the system in what he claims is the world's first fully thermal performance-tested water cooling system for a PS5. Nenhafak splits up the disassembly and reassembly of the custom PS5 into 4 parts. He also shows off plenty of pictures of his design at the end of the video. In the first portion of the video, he completely takes apart the PS5 all the way down to the motherboard. He then cleans off the motherboard and other internal electronics to prep them for attachment onto what looks like an acrylic backplate. With the water cooling technology, Nenhafak's custom PS5 is actually smaller and thinner than a regular PS5. A few of his custom pieces stick out high above of the top of the device, and it definitely looks different than the PS5's recognizable white shell appearance. The size of Sony's PS5 is due in part to a large 120mm cooling fan, but with Nenhafak's design there is no need for the fan. Besides the missing PlayStation 5 hardware, the PS5 functions normally, and Nenhafak is able to test the effectiveness of the water cooling system by monitoring the water temperature and the temperature of the console's backplate. Apparently the build process for this water-cooled PS5 took around 2 months. Nenhafak has indicated that he might make some of his custom water-cooled PS5s available to buy, though he also says there will be so many more versions he plans to design. This PS5 is just another example of the many custom pieces created by PlayStation fans using PlayStation hardware. Speaking of tech, here's another piece of tech. Though Spider-Man fans may soon be seeing Dr. Octopus on the big screen once again, it could not be much longer before they are seeing him in real life as well. A new project sees the Spider-Man villain's prosthetics being used for a practical cause, and it may not be a one-off occurrence. For those unfamiliar with the character of Dr. Octopus, the villain is a tragic one, boasting a neurological disease that will eventually see him losing motor functions. Building 4 mechanical, tentacle-like arms to help with this issue, a neural implant sees Dr. Octopus controlling the arms with his mind. Though this eventually leads to him being corrupt, the real-life suit does not have the same defect, and the process of controlling it is a bit simpler than an implant in the brain. The Dr. Octopus suit was shown off in a recent video from Mashable Deals, and it sees the most prominent feature of the iconic Spider-Man villain used for good. A 3D printed prototype of the arms was given to an 11-year-old boy with hypermobility, a disability that sees people being overly flexible. While hypermobility can be advantageous for athletes, it can also be harmful, as the disability can lead to joint pain for those affected. Fortunately, the boy with the suit has been given a few extra arms to help him out. Keeping the same appearance and structure as the tentacles worn by Spider-Man's nemesis, the special suit is controlled with a series of 4 buttons on the boy's hand. When he moves his arm, the robotic arms move with him, and the special buttons can be used to open and close each of the claws. A series of motors allows each arm to pick up lightweight objects, something that the boy should find incredibly useful when he gets the hang of the suit. The design is truly spectacular, and it is worth seeing in action for any fans of the Marvel character it was inspired by. With gaming-related prosthetics becoming increasingly popular, it makes sense that creative inventors would look to comic books for inspiration as well. The design idea comes from teenage millionaire Eric Finman, and Finman seems determined to keep working on the design beyond this special gift. While the one given to the boy is currently only a prototype, Finman plans on introducing more streamlined and effective models to the general public sometime in the future, though no details as to when they could be coming have been shared. With Finman making his massive fortune from Bitcoin, it is great to see that the young inventor is putting that money to good use. If Finman keeps it up, perhaps people will one day be seen riding around town on Green Goblin's glider. Now shifting gears into some gaming topics, mainly PlayStation exclusives. SpecOps: The Line is regarded by many in the gaming community as an underrated gem. Dealing with uncomfortable subject matter by way of impressive and innovative gameplay methods, SpecOps: The Line served as a diamond in the rough for many players during the 7th console generation. Now, the person who wrote the game is joining up with a prominent development studio. SpecOps: The Line was one of few games that managed to blur the line between a video game and an interactive story. Despite its linearity, it managed to connect a number of players to what was happening in the game and affect them in ways that hadn't really been seen before. Most of this was fueled by one of the game's primary writers, Walt Williams. Along with his work on Star Wars Squadrons, Walt Williams is best known for his work on SpecOps: The Line. Although, it seems the writer is now working with Insomniac Games. For how much popularity and attention the studio has received in terms of its most recent games especially, it seems like Williams' talent will be put to great use there. Though, it does beg to question what kind of writing work Insomniac Games will have Williams doing. Given his background with SpecOps: The Line, it's possible that he's been brought in to work a new Resistance installment, considering that the two series both share a similar tone and aesthetic, though it's not clear if Insomniac has any desire to go back to the Resistance franchise. Considering how light-hearted the last several titles Insomniac has put out in comparison to games like Resistance and SpecOps: The Line, it seems unlikely that the studio would go in that direction. With the newfound success Insomniac has achieved with games like the Ratchet & Clank and Marvel's Spider-Man, it seems possible that Williams will work on something similar to that. In any case, it will be interesting to see what kind of work comes from both Walt Williams and Insomniac Games. As the years have gone on, Insomniac as a studio has certainly become more ambitious when it comes to its projects and IP. With Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart right around the corner, We will just have to wait and find out how Walt Williams' writing ability is utilized in terms of whatever Insomniac Games has in store next for its player base. Up next we have the Bloodborne leak or rumor or news, whatever. Bloodborne was hugely successful on the PlayStation 4, earning widespread critical acclaim and generally considered one of the console's absolute best games. With the PlayStation 5 now available, we Bloodborne fans have been hoping to see an upgraded version make its debut on Sony's next-generation console. Whether or not that comes to pass remains to be seen, but a probable PlayStation Store bug has given us some hope. The listing for a Bloodborne PS5 port on the PlayStation Store. But as pointed out by analysts, this is almost certainly due to a bug with the PlayStation Store on PS5. There is no concrete evidence that a Bloodborne PS5 port is in the works for Sony's new console in any capacity, and so we should keep their expectations in check. That being said, there have been consistent rumors that Bloodborne may very well make the jump from PS4 to PS5. The rumors started in the summer of last year, when reports of a Bloodborne PC port appeared online. The leak stated that not only was Bloodborne being geared up for a PC port, but that a PS5 remaster of the classic game was also in development. These rumors were given further legitimacy when a French retailer leaked Bloodborne on PS5, though no official announcement has been made to date. And with the original Bloodborne readily available to play on PS5, thanks to the console's backward compatibility with PS4, not to mention it being part of the PlayStation Plus collection lineup, some fans have questioned the point of porting the game to the new console. However, there are many benefits that a proper Bloodborne PS5 port could enjoy. As it stands, Bloodborne on PS5 is locked at 30 frames per second, prompting fans to release mods that allow the game to run at 60 frames per second. A proper PS5 port would make it so fans could play Bloodborne on PS5 at a higher frame rate without having to go through the hassle of downloading mods. It could also take advantage of the PS5's unique capabilities, like the DualSense controller's haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. A Bloodborne PS5 port could materialize eventually. There have been enough leaks to suggest that such a port is not out of the realm of possibility at all. Even so, we should take anything like this with a big grain of salt until an official announcement is made. And finally we have some Naughty Dog upcoming games leak and news to discuss. Rumors are flying around Twitter related to Naughty Dog and its upcoming 2021 announcements. Alleged leaks have Naughty Dog trending on the social media website as fans begin arguing about what deserves expansion and other aspects that may be better suited to let lie. It's worth noting that this is all to be taken with a grain of salt. Unverified leaks on the internet are a dime a dozen, and it's easy to be waylaid by nonsense when a gamer is eager to figure out what's next for big studios. There has been no announcements from the studio itself granting any of them credence. The rumor states that Uncharted will be arriving on PC in 2021, The Last of Us 2 will receive an expansion that focuses more on Abby, and multiplayer for the title will arrive soon as well. The final feather in the proverbial cap of the alleged leak is a new IP referenced as Stray's Cross. A heft of the concern appears to revolve around the expansion of The Last of Us 2 focusing on Abby, a character that many players disliked. When the game first released, Twitter devolved into arguments about women not having the appropriate amount of protein in post-apocalyptic times. Some players disliked the character for bringing a cherished arc to a gruesome end, and Naughty Dog took on the challenge of humanizing the character in a startling turn of events midway through the plot. It's worth noting that Neil Druckmann has stated that there will be no DLC to expand the storyline of The Last of Us 2, intending the story to be entirely told in the standard package. The multiplayer expansion has been coming for a while at this point, and all signs point to its continuing development. However, the Strays cross-reference has been circled for years at this point. There's likely a new IP being worked on by Naughty Dog based solely on the successes of its franchises thus far, and the arrival of Uncharted on PC does not fit for me, with other PlayStation exclusives coming to PC gamers with Horizon Zero Dawn and Persona 4. The studio, on the other hand, has been maintaining an eerie silence on what it's working on. Even though Uncharted 4 concluded Nathan Drake's saga on a high note, it left enough for a potential sequel. And while Naughty Dog refuses to comment on Uncharted 5 whereabouts, fans are clinging to Nolan North, Drake's actor, for more information. It seems though, North has finally cleared the air around Uncharted 5. Answering a fan during the Get Good Live's latest episode, he says, "If they are making a new Uncharted, I don't know about it." In true Nolan North fashion he says, "If they are, and I don't know about it, and I'm not in it, I'm gonna throw some hands. We are gonna have some problems." If North's track record is anything to go by, he isn't very good with the leaks. Back in 2015, North confirmed the existence of The Last of Us 2 during a Q&A panel at MetroCon by saying, "I know they are doing a Last of Us 2. So it may be that he isn't involved with the project, or it's still in the pre-production stage. Either way, it seems it will be a while before fans actually get new information on the next Uncharted game. Earlier this year, eagle-eyed fans had noticed an interesting piece of information in regards to Sony's not-so-secret San Diego studio, the one that has hired plenty of former Naughty Dog employees. The studio is currently rumored to be working on a new Uncharted game, and the former PlayStation head Michael Mumbauer's LinkedIn profile revealed that he worked as the studio head with an entirely new team in San Diego until November 2020. San Diego Studio has been established to work on existing PlayStation franchises and, according to descriptions, is working on a AAA action-adventure game. Although there isn't any confirmation that this rumored project is a new Uncharted, it wouldn't be surprising if it turns out to be, given it's one of Sony's biggest franchises. Naughty Dog, on the other hand, has its own handful with several cool projects that will likely be announced soon. One of them could be the PS5 upgrade for The Last of Us 2, something that fans have been asking for quite some time. In the meantime, Uncharted fans have a lot to look forward to, with the upcoming release of Uncharted movie featuring Tom Holland. Uncharted will be the combination of Indiana Jones and James Bond, according to Holland, and will release on February 11, 2022. And that's all for the video guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and click the notification icon for knowing instant updates, more interesting and informative topics in the gaming world. And until then, from SMPV, it's goodbye.